Hi, everyone, and welcome to a special edition of the Pirate Podcast with me, Mike Jones, aka Captain Pirate. Had to do a special for the Masters because I love the Masters. To me, it's the start of the golf season. I've got two great guests coming back on the show with me. Only seems like last week or the week before they were on, but I had to have them back because I know they're passionate about the Masters the same as me. And that's Sean Holley, former Ospreys head coach, and a spectacular TV pundit. But joining him is one of my favourite guests, person I like speaking to the most, the beautiful Rachael McQueen. It's my job to make you blush, you know that. So welcome back, guys. You know, the Masters to me is the start of the golf season. I'm so excited to watch the event this season. Crowds are coming back in, and it's going to be an incredible one. So what I want to know, Sean, I'll go to you first, is do you get that feeling of excitement at this time of year when it comes around?
Yeah, absolutely. I've grown up watching the Masters. It's ironic that golf has got back after the most recent lockdown, almost the same timing as the Masters. And, in terms of the start of the season, I should add, Mike, my start of the season happened yesterday, really, where I beat you 5-4 on the 2010 course at the Celtic Manor. So, I mean,
Well,
I've got to put it out there because, you put it on social media that we were out. Rach is now going to put out some fabulous footage of our course blog. But yeah, no, all jokes aside, it is. I've grown up watching the Masters. My dad's a keen golfer, and as a young sports fan, growing up watching, all sports on TV, the Masters was right up there. And I was thinking this today that one of the reasons why is because when I was a teenager, a young teenager, America just seems so far away. We used to go to Spain on holidays or down west or whatever, and America just seems so far away. And then to be allowed up a little bit later to watch the end of the Masters, and that green jacket, I don't know what it is, but that green jacket sort of puts something it puts it in young people's minds that whoa, it's not just a trophy or, there's something special about Augusta and about the Masters. So I love it. I can't wait for it.
what about the color green for you, Rachel? Because there's a saying,
Uh,
as you know, blue and green should never be seen, only on Rachel McQueen. There we go.
is that the saying? Is it? Well, I better be careful what I say being from Scotland about what colour I choose. But when it comes to the Masters, there's only one colour for me, and that's green. I absolutely love the Masters. I'm in a very unique position, shall we say, that I actually share my birthday with Masters Week. So every
Oh,
single
wow.
year, my birthday is in and about the Masters, and it happens to be the Wednesday before everything kicks off this year, which is great. So it's just got another meaning to me, obviously. It kind of just gets me in like super excited about the year ahead, about golf, everything. But obviously to go to the Masters would be the best birthday present ever and is the top of my bucket list. I'm just hoping that a few of my friends, will get that invite and maybe send a couple of tickets my way. Unfortunately, this year, I think it's only players, guests, and patrons and members that are allowed. So not meant to be this year, but fingers crossed it's on the
Oh,
cards for me next year.
we'll have to get a Great Days golf event there, without a doubt. A trip away, play some golf, and go and watch the Masters. To me, that's a trip. That's a
Well,
Oh,
dream of a
sign me
lifetime.
up.
that's a great day's golf bucket list as well. Eventually we want to be taking clients, associates, premier partners over to Augusta. That was one of our dreams that a great day's golf doesn't necessarily mean just playing golf. A great day's golf
No,
can be
no.
watching something like the Masters, and so that's a bucket list for us, isn't it? And I'm sure we'll get there.
Have you ever been? Oh, have you managed to get over, Sean, or is that still on your bucket list?
Yeah, massively on my bucket list. No, I've been so busy with my rugby career in the past. It's only the last couple of years I've managed to catch up with myself, but it's definitely on my bucket list. I'm a massive sports fan, and so I have several things. I've been really lucky to go on Lions tours, World Cups. I've been to big football matches like FA Cup finals. I've been to Ashes tours in Australia. And I've been to Formula One, Grand Prix, British Grand Prix, and all this sort of stuff. But the Masters is top of my list. It really is, and closely followed by cricket in the Caribbean. I want to go and watch cricket in the West Indies, and then followed by a Super Bowl. So the Masters is right up there. It's in real big company, isn't it?
Well, I'll make a deal with you, right? I'll go to the Caribbean with you to watch cricket, as long as you let me pedal the pedalo.
Well, a quick story. I got several mates. I got several mates who I have a beer with on a Thursday, and we have a saving club. I'm 50 now; they're all older than me. We have a saving club, and we save for years. 2, 3, 4 years before we actually get round to spending something. But the first time we started, it took us 17 years to spend the money because I was always working. And we took off to Australia to watch the Ashes. We had 2 weeks in Australia, all business class. So that was back in 2017. So we're 4 years into our saving. Again, we couldn't spend all the money. And I'm trying to get my mates to say, let's go to the Masters, or let's go to the Ryder Cup, or let's go to the US Open. They're all cricket fans, unfortunately. So it looks like the West Indies is going to come before the Masters. But I would be over there like a shot if I had a chance.
Oh my God! Well, Rach, what about you? Have you been to any? Because I know you've travelled extensively in your work before. So have you managed to go to any majors that obviously the Opens, we've spoken before, and you've seen those, but anything abroad?
So I used to live in America, and I was able to go to the PGA Championship at Valhalla, and that was phenomenal. And I did my usual networking queen as I am, and made friends with a member. And the following week, I was invited back to play at Valhalla, and it was some golf course. I've also been to the Ryder Cup at Le Golf National, and this wasn't abroad, but it definitely was an unbelievable experience. And that was the Solheim Cup at Glen Eagles, to see Team Europe win on my home soil. It was just, and the fans were fantastic, and to win in the fashion that they did, it was such a buzz. But
that's
Ryder
like
Cup,
the ladies' Miracle of Medina, I suppose.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I've been very fortunate. I've I've been to quite a few events, and obviously I met yourself at the Portugal Masters. But yeah, I'd say Ryder Cup was top of that
Portugal
list.
Masters. Got the shirt on today. It is summer, so and my shirt's almost the same color as my head now. I had a bit too long in the sun today. So we've spoken about our dreams and what we'd like, and I'm sure there's one player. Now I'm getting onto picks now for the Masters, because this is what a podcast is about. And my pick, I can't look any further than Rory this week. I just got a strong feeling that his game could head in the right direction. He's done all the mental demons. He's coming in a bit under the radar, and I really fancy him to go out there and do it. So you tell me what you think of that, mate.
I'm done with Rory, right? I'm done with Rory. Rory, if you're listening, I'm done with you. I'm done with Lee Westwood, right? I'm fed up of spending money on betting sites, betting on you and supporting you, and you letting me down, the pair of you, right? So I'm done with those two. I'd love it for him to, because I go back to what I said about growing up. I remember vividly watching Sandy Lyle make that shot out of the bunker, right? Was it on 17? I think it was.
On 18.
On 18, sorry, on 18, yeah. Right? He's in the bunker, and what a shot to play at that stage. I think it was, let me get my date right. Was it 1983?
I couldn't tell you the year.
I think it was 83 or 85. But anyway, I would have been 13, 14, right? That a massive impression. I mean, Ian Woosnam, who you've had here on the Pirate podcast, I vividly remember now him knocking it in, us all willing it in, and then that celebration, with the putter and his arm up.
Bump,
yeah, the fist bump. So, I'd love it for Lee Westwood or Rory McIlroy to win. I just can't see it. I mean, I'm not looking that far past Justin Thomas and Bryson DeChambeau. I think Bryson, I know it's not his sort of, he loves the length, and he's not he doesn't mind where he hits it off the tee. But I think I think he's better than that. I think he's pigeonholed as that. And Justin Thomas for me is just
when he's on. I was watching him the other week, and I know he did have a spot of luck on the 18th. On his final tee shot, because the camera angle was brilliant on Sky Sports. It was from behind, elevated, and you can see him start it down the centre of the fairway. And I'm thinking, my God, that isn't drawing. That's got a bit of hook on it. That's got to get down. And he looked a bit. You saw his reactions, wiping his brow and looking at his caddy with his eyes wide open. And it took that straight bounce, and that was the difference between him winning and losing the tournament. I really thought Westwood would come through. And I think he showed a lot of character to finish the way he did. So he could be up there. I think Westwood could be up there, but Justin Thomas, when he's on, he's almost unbeatable. He's nearly as good as you, Rach.
Yeah, I wish I had his game. God. For me, I'm not putting money on Rory. Sorry, Mike. I just don't see it. Like, he has far too many demons to get past at the moment. When you see him in interviews, his shoulders are down, and his energy just isn't there. If he gets off to a great start, if he has a good first round, then I'll believe it. I would, of course, love to see him get the Grand Slam. That would be amazing. Yeah. But I just don't see it. For me, I like Bryson if he behaves himself and doesn't play too aggressively. But actually, last year after Dustin's win, I put money on Xander Schauffele to win this year.
That's a good shout.
I just really like how he plays, how he kind of approaches Augusta as well. He finished tied second in 2019, so he has the game to perform in there. It's just all of it coming together at once. Obviously, he's not been playing great recently, but he's been there and thereabouts. So fingers crossed it all comes together, and my little bet pays off.
Oh, so you have had a little tipple then? Have you had a go at it?
Yeah, right. I have. Yeah, I have. I only bet on the majors. That's the only ones I do. And my biggest regret is, so I was like, Henrik Stenson's going to win a major this year. It's going to happen. So I put money on him at Augusta, and he didn't play well at all. I put money on him at the US Open, and he missed the cut. So when the Open came to Troon, I went, I am not putting money on you, Henrik. You have absolutely let me down this year. And then he obviously went on to win it. And I was like, I should have just stuck with my guns and been like, he's gonna win. But of course, he just hadn't. But that just shows you, it's anybody's game. You just don't know what, especially when it comes to the majors. You've seen some people win it and you're like, what, where did that come from? And I think that's what makes it so exciting. Yeah. And with Augusta, it's obviously it returns there every single year, so that makes it exciting. The atmosphere that they build up about the event, and just the history of it, and seeing all the old boys making their returns to hit the tee shot. Yeah. It's just such a nice buzz about it. But yeah, I think Xander, fingers crossed.
Oh, brilliant. This is leading quite nicely now, because Sean, you've coached high-end athletes, guys at the top of their game, and coach Wales and such like. Now, did you ever delve into the psychological side of sport with these guys? Because if you did, say you were Rory's coach, going back to Rory, what would you do with him psychologically? Would you grab him and give him a slap and say, sort yourself out? Or would you bring him into your fold and make him feel wanted? What do you think would work with him, in your opinion?
Well, that's a tough question. I mean, as a professional rugby coach, you are essentially a sports psychologist, a behavioralist, if you like. But that's more dealing with individuals becoming part of a team and working together as part of a team. Golf is very much an individual sport, no matter how much they rely on a conditioner and a psychologist and a mentor and a manager and a caddy. You could say it's a team. It's not really. It's one guy that goes out and hits the ball. So even though they have a team behind them, So it'd be a very difficult one. I think I think I would perhaps ask Rory, what does he really want out of life? I think he needs to strip back to that raw Northern Irish, determined, motivated youngster that wanted to win majors. I look at him now and it's just sort of like, if he makes a bad shot and misses a cut or isn't in contention as well, so what? I got plenty of money, I got a lot of endorsements, I've got a family now and so on. And I get all that. I get all that. But do you know what? The greats, and this goes across all sport, they transcend all of that. So you look at Tiger Woods now, he did not rest, did he? He could not rest until he came back and won that title, which was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in sport, because everyone had written him off. The sport had moved on, equipment had moved on. There was arguments that Tiger only won so many majors because the field was never any great. Now there's more people than ever. And the guy, that is a great. That's a true great to me. So if Rory wants to be a true great, then he has to strip himself back, I think, and find that inner sort of drive and fire in the belly, because there's no doubt he's got the talent, absolutely no doubt. But you look at somebody like Bryson DeChambeau, who Rachel and I have both sort of tipped, he's got real fire. Now he's chasing hard, isn't he? He wants to win majors. He wants to win titles.
He's prepared to change as well.
He's prepared to change, right? He's unique. He's a scientist, but he's working at it. I've been watching lots of things on him on how he changes his style, how he trains to, he really works it out. He doesn't care what other people think of him. He's determined. And I think Rory might lack that a little bit at the moment. And that's really sad. And then again, Lee Westwood, you get to our age, me and Lee, he's 49, I'm 50, then, he's quite happy, he looks like to me. If it comes along,
he's just enjoying it now. So, and if it happens, it happens. What do you think of Pete Cowan, Rach? McIlroy bringing Pete Cowan into the fold. Do you think that's a good move for him?
I think that he needs a switch. I think you see that with players quite a lot. That's the first thing that happens, is if they really feel as if that their game isn't getting any further, they'll sack the caddy, they'll sack the coach, they'll sack the girlfriend, and they'll do anything to try and change anything within, because as you said, it's such an individual sport, so having that tight-knit team around you is so important, because you absorb their energy. And I totally agree with what you guys are saying. It's his shoulders are down, he needs to make this change, I think, and maybe this is the guy that could do it and turn him around.
I made a prediction to the boys at the golf club. This was when he first took his mate Harry, isn't it, as a caddy. Now lots of caddies have come out and said how good he is at what he does, but I honestly believe, do that for a year, get your mate on the bag. You've had your change. If he had Steve Williams on the bag, I think he'd be phenomenal. Because I heard a great podcast with Nick Doherty the other day, and he was speaking with Johnny Morgan about the Masters and the Tiger effect. And he said how Steve Williams was such a big part of that, where he was more intimidated by Steve Williams than he was by Tiger. Tiger, he said, I was just a bit in awe of him, but Steve Williams scared me. And I think if Rory had that, because it'd be, get your ass into gear, sort yourself out, this is what we're going to do. And I really think someone like that could grab him, take control and say, this is what you're going to do, and I think it could make a massive difference to how he plays anyway.
It's interesting when you bring up the caddy conversation, because I've been doing a little bit of research, and the last rookie that won the Masters was Fuzzy Zeller. And he says that his secret sauce to doing that was an Augusta caddy. Now, obviously, that was something that happened. That was a tradition within that event, that you had to have an Augusta caddy. And a lot of the guys had the same caddy every single year until there was a rain delay, and then it caused so much chaos. And then that's when Tom Watson put it forward to the board and basically said, can we bring our own caddies for that following year? So they brought that in place. So unfortunately, a lot of those caddies missed out. But I think that that helps. Local knowledge helps. And I don't care how many times you've played a golf course, like, or how many times you played in a tournament, there's different parts of that course that only somebody that is there day in, day out knows. And your friend that's on the bag, I don't think really has that experience. But it is interesting seeing players go down that route. So you've got Lee Westwood, who has his fiance in the bag. Dustin Johnson has his brother on the bag, both being extremely successful. So is it just about what works for the player, or should they be a little bit more tactical, especially when it comes to an event like the Masters?
Well, here's one I heard yesterday. Jordan Spieth, I think, has his old teacher on the bag.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Might even be his headmaster, but his old teacher. So, there may be like an authoritative or mentor type role to that relationship,
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson, for me, it could be a trust issue. He trusts his brother implicitly. They know each other inside out. I can't answer for Lee Westwood. I think I got an idea.
Yeah. I think she's doing all right. She got 10% of what, 2.7 million for 2 weeks
Very
work.
nice.
I'd take that. I would take that in a heartbeat.
For me, the Masters has thrown up so many different things, different players and different situations. And I think one of my favorite Masters moments, so I want to talk about some of these now. Obviously, there's the Tiger Woods one, which is just incredible. And I think that's right up there with a lot of people's, one. But for me, I just loved the Phil Mickelson putt to actually win it on that 18th. I have never seen someone
this high.
He jumps about. It looks like he's going to jump 3 foot in the air. He doesn't jump very high, but it's a pure, I've done it, because everybody thought that he was never going to win a major. They're all saying, no, he just hasn't got it. He hasn't got it. And that one then allowed him to win like 4 or 5 more, whatever it was he's won. I can't remember offhand, but I'll never forget really wanting, and Phil can be liked or disliked. Some people like him, some people don't, but he really wanted it so bad. And it goes to what you said about earlier, Sean. When players want it, they have to dig deep. And I don't think anybody digs deeper than Phil myself. I think he works extremely hard. And to see him get his just rewards, that was my Masters moment. What would be yours, Rachel? What would be your favourite Masters moment out of all those years you watched it?
I'm not a huge Tiger fan.
Yeah.
But that chip, like, and then obviously seeing him win it in 2018 is just the best comeback in sport ever. 2019, sorry. And but yeah, that chip, like, I can still see myself like watching it, like I'm watching it on the TV, and you just see it just die into the hole, and the little Nike tech. Nike must have been like, yes, like, you got me there for branding. Is that just all it was just the way he approached it, and you see him and these caddies, C. Williams, and how they're like looking at what route they're going to take and how he's analyzing it, and you can almost like hear his brain like ticking it over and over and visualizing it, and then he just hits it. And I don't think he even quite believed that he like did it, and his reaction was so pure, and with his caddy and everything. But yeah, that chip, and I'm sure that's the same for a lot of people, and we'll probably see it over and over again in the footage and the coverage next week, but this week, and it's that chip.
Sean, what about you, mate? What do you think? We've taken two of the big ones now, I think.
Yeah, so. Well, those two vividly stick in my mind, because they're around about the age I was, 13, 14, 15. And the same time, actually, Seve won it. I think Seve won it before both Sandy Lyle and Ian Woosnam. So I was a massive Seve fan, probably because I'm a poor man Seve in my golf, and I have to get out of trouble all the time. But he he had something, you know. So you know his celebrations again, you know, heavy celebration. But the Woosnam putt, because you know, being the Welsh, to think as a 15-year-old or whatever I was, that a Welsh person could win something on his own of such magnitude across the water, then that one. And I'm with you on the Tiger Woods win. I said I'm not a massive fan, but I just was willing him to do it because of what I mentioned earlier, the gap and I love legends. I love guys who prove themselves in adversity or after time. I love those sort of things. But what I also love about the Masters is I'm quite a traditional sort of guy as well. So it's just the whole thing around it, you know, the par 3 challenge, you know, and what throws up there. Was it last year that John Rahm skimmed it across was it John Rahm skimmed it across the lake?
Yeah.
And into the hole? I mean, come on, you know, there's that, the green jacket I mentioned, the names of the holes, you know, all that, the first tee off, you know, where it used to be Arnold Palmer, bless him, but all that tradition, and then the old clubhouse. I was listening to I forget who it was on a podcast. I think it might. Oh, it was on your podcast, Ian Woosnam, saying about the clubhouse. When you're there, it's not very big, and it's just an old-fashioned sort of American clubhouse. But everything around it, you know, when you look out onto the course, is different, and that just give me goosebumps listening to Woozy say that.
Well,
you know?
I was sat here. And I'm listening to him speak, and I think this is one of my heroes saying this. And you think when that was, how many years ago that was, and his eyes lit up as he said it. He said they open the doors, you walk through the clubhouse, and it's like the Garden of Eden, you know, this is what heaven must be like. And he was still as passionate about it now as then, and so we have to go there. We just have to go there. That's like giving or take.
Yeah. Well, we will. I tell you, I did a charity bike ride in California a couple of years ago, and we cycled through and into Pebble Beach. Now I know Pebble Beach isn't Augusta, but to me, it's one of those ones I want to go to. You know, I wanted to go to, and so we had. With Jiffy and Martin Williams, a couple of rugby players, we had morning tea on the veranda overlooking the 18th.
Oh, wow.
And the ocean is blowing in. And I'm thinking, I'm pinching myself thinking, I've got to go stuff the bike, right? It's $500. You can actually rock up and pay $500 and play there, you know? So, you know, that sort of thing now excites me. I want to be present at the Ryder Cup. I've been on a Lions tour and I know what that's like. And I can imagine golf, the Ryder Cup is golf's Lions tour and vice versa, you know. So I want to be part of that, and I want to go to these big ones. You know, I haven't been to a British Open yet. I've been to a Senior Open. We were lucky enough to have the Senior Open down at Royal Porthcawl.
That's right. Yeah.
Took my son down and we watched the last 2 days, and Bernard Langer was just fantastic.
He ripped everybody apart.
Oh,
he ripped everybody apart that week.
Demonic. He was amazing. Yeah. But you know, that's the sort of thing. We followed Jimenez and Watson and that. You know, these are just my heroes, the greats. So yeah, we'll have to go, mate. That's for sure.
You know, here's a plan. I think that we get the ball rolling. The Open is at St Andrews for the 150th next year, and I think that would be what a place to go to your first ever Open Championship. I think we need to make it happen.
We got to make it happen.
Yeah, we'll do that.
If anybody out there listening to this who want to take us,
please. That would be great. Like we've spoken about some special moments, and we've also spoken about heroes and legends of the game. But Augusta has made people's careers as well, and the one that always sticks in my mind is Faldo. And I suppose I'm drawn to these characters that some people like and some people dislike. I loved the guy. I thought he was amazing when I first started playing golf. I read his book and hated him. I thought, oh, what a horrible guy. Just reading his autobiography. And what I didn't like was he was so focused on what he had to do, he gave up a lot of other things that I held dear, and I thought, my God, that's, when I look back now, I was a bit younger when I read it, the focus and dedication he had were just incredible. And I remember it being in the clubhouse at Woodlake Park, one of our associate clubs. I remember sitting there in the bar with the guys that year when Greg Norman had a 6-shot lead going into the final round. And I was one of my good mates, Harry, and I said, Harry, I'm telling you now, he's not going to win because he holed, God knows the footage of Putty hold on those first 3 days. He was holding for pars, 20 footers for fun. And I said to Harry, look, yeah, but he's 6 shots clear. I said, but he's been holding 20 footers for par. So he's not playing great. He's not chipping great. So it's going to happen. And I said, and the worst possible player he could be playing with is Baldo, because he's going to go out and he don't care what Greg's doing. He's just going to go chip away, chip away. He was in the lead by the end of the front nine. It wasn't a collapse by Greg Norman. He just played like he had been playing the first 3 days. He couldn't hold a putt. But people forget about that. Oh, Rachael, I was shocking yesterday, my putting. I think it's my worst putting display ever. I tell you, I putted like Eddie Murphy in Shrek, the donkey. That's what I was putting, like a donkey with hoofs.
This doesn't endear you to, you're not giving credit to your opponent, do you? You're just blaming your own putting.
You can't do that. It's psychological warfare, mate.
Mate, 5 and 4 is an absolute drubbing. And Rich, if somebody who plays their home course week in, week out, they should beat the visitor quite comfortably, shouldn't they? And they're off 2.5.
Yeah. I just love how the fact is I messaged Mike and I was like, and from your message, I took it that Mike played really well. So I messaged him and said, oh, it looks like you had a great round of golf today. And he just ignored it. So he was obviously that embarrassed that he didn't want to tell me.
All you see is me smiling, nice, and I am the most fierce competitor. Inside, I'm bouncing inside, but I won't let Sean see that. And I can't let you see that.
Oh, I knew you were
I'll let him have his 2 pence for moments of fun. Like, I know that I missed 3 putts at least that would have ate into his lead that I would normally not miss. So that's all I'm going to say. And then we had a consolation match at the end, which I said double or quits.
You can't have a consolation match. Can you imagine now? Can you imagine now? No. Imagine in Augusta now, right? Bryson DeChambeau, right, wins it, right? And then Rory comes up and says, never mind that. Can we play another couple of holes and just see if I can win? Yeah, that works.
I didn't say it like that. I'll tell you how the conversation went, right? I said, I tell you what, Sean, you give me a drubbing, you beat me fair and square. But how about we do double or quits on the back 4, on the last 4? And he went straight in it, because he's confident he's going to. And I absolutely backed it. It was like a 9 and 8 if it was over 18 holes. And all he kept saying, I don't care.
Man, nobody talks about that, do they?
Oh my God. How many balls did I put in the water on that 4? The 1 hole, I just kept reloading 12. The par 4, the long one over the water. Yeah. I said, I'm staying here until I either run out of the balls or I hit one over the water.
Is that the course that we're going to play when we're there next in May?
That's right, yeah. So it'll be...
Oh, I'm so excited.
I'm going to play off of red tees. I love this new world handicap system because I can play off red tees now. And I played it last week off red tees when it first opened, the day it opened after the lockdown, and it was brilliant. It was a nice course. It wasn't as short as I thought it was going to be. So you can go back on the yellow tees now, Rach. That's fine. You can go on the white tees if you want.
Well, 7,600. I won't be doing that. But I look at the scorecard and play from whatever tees that I think is closest to my game, because I don't want to also make it hard for myself, but I want to be able to get it round and enjoy myself at the same time. So I kind of play off a mix, but I won't be off the reds. I'll be probably the tees behind.
Well, good luck, because I'm going off the reds. I don't care where anybody's going to wear a skirt if I have to. I don't care.
I'll beat you off the whites, Mike.
Well, if you go off the reds, Mike, you'll be giving us shots if you're going off the reds.
No. World handicap. I get 3 shots off the reds. I get 4 off the yellows, and not quite 5 off the whites. So,
Well, as a
I think
marketer,
I'll be off the Reds. You've said it now in public that you'll play off the Whites and I'll play off the Reds. There's
well,
no shots then, obviously, is there?
takes you 2 shots to get to my drive, doesn't it? You know, to be fair.
It does. It certainly does. You know how far we get on the first tee, Rach, and you've seen it. We've sent you some footage of our day down there that'll go on our social media at some point. And every time me and Sean have played, I swear this is true. He always birdies the first hole. So we get on the first tee. It's a bit foggy because it's a nice day, and the fog sits down in the valley, so we can't really see where we're going. I'm not really sure, so I give him a little bit of advice. Just hit it here, and he's absolutely pounded one down there, and he's got a wedge left at 440-yard par 4, and he's got a wedge left. I've hit driver 3-wood short, and he's hit his wedge on to about 15 foot. I said, there we go. We might as well walk to the second now. He's going to birdie it.
I missed the putt. When are you playing next, Rich?
I'm not sure. I'm hoping I can kind of swindle a game for my birthday. I like to play golf on my birthday, and obviously with lockdown, I didn't get to do it last year. And I'm not sure because obviously restrictions are still in place here until the end of April. So fingers crossed I can get out on my birthday. I might just have to send a few emails and sweet talk a few pros to telling me to play, but we'll see. And then I've got a few things obviously lined up towards the end of April, and then of course Celtic Manor in May, which I can't wait.
We'll be up before then anyway for a trip and play some golf and visit some clubs, visit the Fairmont. That'll be great. Now, well, Sean would love the Fairmont. I think have you been there yet, Sean? Scotland?
No. Like I told you when I came on, my dad for my 50th birthday, bought me a trip to St Andrews. We haven't been able to organise anything yet, but I'm very friendly with Danny Wilson, the Glasgow Warriors head coach, and I've got very friendly with the likes of John Barkley and Ali Kellogg, the former Scotland international players. And they all play the Fairmont, St Andrews, the Renaissance. They play all those courses. So I'm really looking forward to us, Mike, going up, seeing Rachael, catching up with Becky and Emma. Great podcast, by the way, last week.
I enjoyed that.
And having a bit of a Great Days Golf Scottish Mastiff, if you like, and getting around a couple of courses, playing, meeting people, and hopefully, building partnerships with Great Days Golf, because
that's what it's all about.
That's what we're all about, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to getting up, and Rachael has told me some of the courses that she's played. There's the new, is it a new course that's open that you were really excited? I remember on the video you were saying you were really excited about playing it. Is it Dunbarney?
Dunbarney. So it is
my God, that looks incredible.
Brand new. It's absolutely brand new. So I played it 2 weeks ago for the second time, and obviously I heard some rumors while I was there. People weren't saying everything fully, but I'd heard a few rumors. And then obviously it got announced the other day that the Women's Scottish Open is going to Dunbarney this year, which is huge because the course has maybe been open 2 years, if that. Like, it is probably the youngest course to host a major tournament like that, and that brings across LPGA players. It's the week before the Women's Open, which is at Carnoustie this year, so it's going to be a huge event for them. And I'm so happy for the team and everybody that if you go there, if you've been there, you'll totally understand. Everybody there is passionate about Dunbarney, and you just feed off that energy from the minute you park your car. And it's my favorite course, and there's a lot.
To go there.
Yeah,
Kingsbarns was top of my list for a very long time, but Dunbarney, and it's only like, I want to say 30 minutes about 30 minutes from St Andrews.
Oh, perfect. That'll be right the sort of area we're looking to travel around when we come up now. And like you said, visit those clubs and build those partnerships. It's all what we're about. That's Great Days Golf to a T, I suppose. Little golfing analogy there. But that's what we're all about. So the time is looking God, I can't believe how quick the time goes when I'm doing this. I love talking about the Masters with you. It's just been incredible to get your feelings, your thoughts. Didn't even get to ask Sean how you feel over the 12th tee shot at Augusta on a Sunday afternoon with a few thousand people watching you.
We did a little thing again. We'll show it on our social media. You give me the Phoenix from the Flames to sort of reincarnate the Hunter Mahan chip shot on the 17th par 3 that he duffed, and Gray McDowell won the Ryder Cup. And you built it up and you sort of got there, and I thought, well, I'm going up the hill. The greens weren't running. Hunter Mahan probably took something like I don't know, maybe a wedge or maybe even something like a 7-iron. I don't know, to get up the hill. I went yesterday because I went with a sand wedge. Went with a sand wedge because I felt yesterday I was getting more benefit throwing the ball higher, closer to the hole, because it wasn't running too much. And that, just the fact that you were filming and you put that pressure on me was enough. Fortunately, I got it closer than Hunter Mahan, but
a lot closer.
You cannot imagine, how they would feel in front of all those people, the TV audience, the magnitude of the situation. I mean, I've been in positions as a coach in the rugby field where you see guys kicking in front of millions of people on the TV for the tee, in front of 80,000 in the stadium. I was a kicker, never that many people watching, of course, but even when I went on the first tee in my Wednesday competition this morning, I felt a little bit of butterflies, because you do, didn't you? There's only one other guy watching, and the 2-ball distance waiting for the 10-minute gap. But you do feel it. Can you imagine standing over the 12th? I'd love to have a crack. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to have a crack at it. But
I think I'd be absolutely petrified myself.
Yeah. I got to give it a dig, haven't you?
Yeah. What about you, Rach? You look as though you've been really calm doing something like that.
Oh, I might show it on the outside, but inside I'm crumbling and I'm just trying to hold it together. I obviously went through a lot of training with my coach and how to approach that, because when I was playing professionally, we would obviously have the occasional crowd. Nothing is what compared to right now, but back in the day we'd have a few people watching, and it is you do get that into the back of your mind, so you get used to try and put it in the back of your mind and reassess the situation and calm yourself down. But it is difficult. But I think the most nervous I've been in front of a crowd of people is I somehow qualified for the American Golf Long Drive finals, and I unfortunately got ill the week before and lost a lot of weight. So I wasn't thinking I was going to be hitting it very far, but I went for the jolly basically.
Yeah.
And when I got there, they had a grandstand, and then they had this podium that you had to hit off. And before I hit my golf shots, I always stand behind the golf ball. And all I could think about was me falling backwards off this podium. And I was so nervous that I was going to, in front of this grandstand of people, just absolutely deck it backwards off this podium when I was trying to hit it as far as I could. I ended up hitting it 259 yards was my longest, unfortunately. I was hoping for 260, that was my goal, considering that I'd qualified I think with 255, but my now best mate Alona ended up winning the event, and I think she hit it 310 yards, so I definitely wasn't up there. But yeah, this tiny little podium, and I was just like, I'm gonna fall backwards off of this on TV as well, because it was filmed for Sky, and I was like, they're not going to show any of my golf shots, they're just going to show me falling backwards over and over again, and I could not get out of my head.
Oh, well, that was great. I think you got some good insights to how I think we all work the same inside, actually, and I think a lot of the pros do, and they just hide it well. But I've really enjoyed this chat. It's been great talking about the Masters, and I just can't. I'm just so excited. I am really excited. Gonna get the bets on now. Get the boys on. I've had some tips off you. I might go with DeChambeau and stick a bit on him, but I got a sneaky each way on Rory. I got to back Rory. I love the way he plays, and I really think he's gonna do it. But I'm gonna quote the old guy himself, Butch Harmon. He always says it on a Thursday morning. let's get it on for the Masters. So thanks for joining me, Sean. Rachel, it's been a pleasure as always. Find our podcasts on YouTube at the Great Days Golf channel. You can find me, Mike Jones, MJ_disabled golf. I always get that wrong. Or find me, the easiest search is #Captain Pirate. Our app is greatdaysgolf.com, and you can download the app and see everything we have to offer you. And that's what we're all about at Great Days Golf, giving people a good time, building partnerships, and bringing golfers together. So thanks for joining me on the show, and I shall see you all soon. Thanks a lot, everyone.